Hello my scrapping friends, and welcome to Creating Your Memories. I'm Deborah Kozlovic and I'm a Creative Memories Independent Advisor from Australia. I hope you're all doing well and I hope the weather is all good for you. So I know in some places overseas it is summertime, and here in Australia it is our winter period. The last couple of weeks has been very cold and chilly in the air. If you find a nice sunny spot outside, you can sit in the sun and it's nice and warm. Over the past couple of weeks, Creative Memories have brought out a couple of new collections. Today I'm going to be working with Relax into Summer and also this new BMC sunglasses chain. So I'll be working with that today. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can actually use the sunglasses chain. As you can see, I've done that jumbo circle effect, but I will be doing that in a different kind of layout. And with that, so as you can see, you can just do the normal like punching around from that jumbo circle, and then I'm going to show you another way that you can use the outside from that jumbo circle and contort that into also another layout. So today you're going to need, and the items that I will be using would be the jumbo circle, the red blade, the Sunglasses BMC, and also just the housing main part of your border maker system. I won't be using the tray today. I've also chosen some cardstock that I'm going to be using the solar yellow cardstock. It's very, very bright, very summery. And also the other things that I'm going to be using is a laser cut, a variety mat. I'm going to go through my stickers to see what looks good to complete my layout. I've also got the wavy designer paper from the paper pack, 2 pieces of white bright cardstock, some blue cardstock which I'll use for photo mats, and some pale pink which I'll incorporate also with that and making some photo mats. So first of all, I'm going to place all this aside and bring in my solar yellow cardstock and my jumbo circle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up on my 13 by 13 inch cutting mat, making sure that my jumbo circle is centered in the middle of my cardstock, and making sure that I've got even on both 4 ends. And then I'm going to cut it with the with the red blade on the outside track. So I'm just going to slot that in and then cut on the outside edge. So I'm just going to go around that just a second time to make sure that I've cut all my bits. So I'm just going to go around it a little bit more. So we've got that. So we're done with the jumbo circle, so we can now put that aside, and also with the red blade. So I'll show you what I did with this one a little bit later, but to start off with, we're just going to be using the jumbo circle that we just cut out. We don't need the mat anymore. So now I'm going to get the Sunglasses BMC and I'm going to slot it in the housing. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to slot my cardstock in, making sure that it's right against that edging, and then I'm just going to punch. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this edge here with this edge here to make that round bit matching in to complete the sunglasses. So as you can see, it's lined up in there, and then just punch. So I'm going to continue that right around the circle. So just lining that edge up. As you can see, it's lined up in there, and then you want to punch. And you want to make sure that that edging is right up against the housing of that border maker system. And then lining it up like so, and punch. And you want to continue to do this all around the jumbo circle. And that's how you would get your sunglasses ring. So we're just going to line it up and punch, and then lining it up as we go. Oops, a little bit caught. So to start it off with, I use the jumbo circle with the red blade. So we're coming up to the other end. So I'm just going to continue to do what I'm doing at the moment. So we're going to do one more, lining it up, and then punch. So now we have, just get that bit of cardstock out. So we want to line up both edges now. So you want to line up both points of your sunglasses. So we've got one edge and then you have the other. So you just want to line it up as best as you can. So lining it in, and then you'll be something like that towards the end, and then punch. So you can keep this and use that for future projects. So the next thing, all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my multi-purpose scissors, and I'm just going to neaten up these edges and cut that bit off. So curving around so it goes into the round bits of your sunglasses. So it doesn't look odd or anything like that, and everything should blend in nicely. So just going around and cutting it off. Like this. And as you can see, you've got that nice ring of the sunglasses. And the sunglasses could be like, you know, can be used for any type of page. You can use it for going to the beach, you know, bushwalking. So as you can see here, I'm just going to bring in my black cardstock again. And as you can see, once I put that on there, you can see how nice that looks. And you've got the nice sunglasses going around in that jumbo circle. And this is the other one that I've done previously. So you could actually make a double page if you like, and you can use, you know, any color cardstock. But I found that the yellow and the black looks really nice. It really stands out, has a nice effect. So that's the reason why I use the black. And the other layout that I did do, and I used the outside of the edge that we use for our jumbo circle, and all I did was cut a 1/8 strip around the 4 sides, and all I did on the edging here is use my corner rounder, and I just pushed it through on the end here and then punched, and that's what gave that little curve here. So that was, you know, like with the leftover cardstock. So using all the bits that, you know, from that one piece of cardstock, you can make 2 layouts. You could also have, you know, something like this You can have it on that side, or you might want it on that side, and you can still make that double page layout. And all I did was here was just punched through a few strips of the sunglasses chain and had that nice little effect down the bottom. Then you can just have a couple of photos inside the jumbo circle part there. So coming back to this one here as a single page layout, you can use some of your variety mats. Variety mats are good for backing your photos. On some of the variety mats you also have the titles that you can use. So I'm just trying to find which ones I have left, and something that would match in. See, that's a nice little, you know, to make that like into a nice little title page there. Or you can use this side here, and you can have the one single photo, or if you can have 2 6x4s. I'm just trying to find a 6x4. You can have 2 6x4 photos in the middle, you know, and that's just standard. You can have something like that, and then you can do a nice little heading. With the headings, you also got, you know, the ones in our sticker packs here, and nice different varieties of headings that you can use on your beach layouts or outdoor layouts. Sailing, boating, just having a picnic down at the beach. You've got all these nice little headings. You've got some other little border strips that you can use, and some nice decorative icons here. So that is another way that you can actually use that sunglasses chain on those 2 layouts. But today I decided to do another different kind of layout. So I'm going to be using the 2 bright white cardstocks as my base, and then I'm going to bring in the 12-inch trimmer, and I want to have this wave paper up because I want it to go across. So this is a 12x12, so I'm going to cut that in half for 6x12. And then just laying out my white cardstock. So I've done a similar layout like this using the boat life one. Then you've got your 2 ends, and then you can have your sunglasses in the middle, or put the waves in the middle. This is like the waves are continuing on. So lining that up so it all matches, and then have the sunglasses coming from the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line it up on here, and then I'm going to cut in the middle where the sunglasses are. So I'm going to cut that end and this end up here. And then just going to put them on either side like this. You can also have it that wide. If you want to have a little bit smaller, you can take that in a little bit more. It doesn't have to be the size of the jumbo circle. So you can have something like that. So I'm going to adhere my wave designer paper down on my cardstock. So I'm just going to make sure that it's all matching. so you've got that continuous flow. So just going to hew down the second side to make my base layout. I'm just going to lay that down. So just going to put it together now, and I'm going to see, make sure it's got that continuous flow, which it does. So just going to hew the rest of that down. So now deciding on if I want to have it a little bit coming off the page or having it like that. I think I might go the full length. I think it might look a little bit better. So I'm going to be using my repositional tape now. Just going to bring in my silicone mat. So it's going to go like that. Oh, hang on. That side. So I'm just going to put some repo tape on. So we're just going to line that up. Just take it up a tiny tad. So we have the first one. So now we'll do the second. Looking for my right and my wrong way, so I'm just going to do it this way. So again, just going to be using the repositional tape. And then doing the same on the opposite side. So now that we have that down, as you can see by this layout now, it's looking pretty flowing with the waves in the middle, and then it's like a sun on the outside, but using the sunglasses border chain. The other thing I was considering was using a border strip going down the side here. I was thinking about using this laser cut from Relax into Summer and just cutting that in half and putting half on this edge and half on that. Or the other thing that I could use is one of the sticker strips with the wave. But I'm thinking now, looking at that, I might go with the laser border cut. So I'm just going to bring in the 12-inch trimmer. So I'm just going to line this up. So I'm just going to measure it first to see how wide it is. So it's 1 1/8. So it's 1 1/8. So half of that is half. So I'm going to line it at, it's going to be somewhere in between, where is it? Just to get that measurement right, there's my half. So it's going to be in between 5/8. So you've got your 5/8 line. So I'm just going to line it down here. And then I'm going to just use my guides to make sure that I've got it correct. So I just need to take this one over a tad more. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now I'm just going to cut that through. And hopefully it didn't move on me, and I can have one on either side. Finish cutting it. It is cut but not completely through. So then I want to use the yellow side. I think my circle might be slightly different from one side to the other. So I'm going to adjust that more and take it down. So I'm just going to see how that goes. A little bit more. I think I might just do it like that. Just getting rid of that excess of that repositional tape. And the other thing I'm going to have to do now is trim that little excess off. So that way it's all matching from one side to the other. So I'm just going to put some, I don't mind the green, but I'm thinking now I might use the green, not the yellow. So I'm just going to use some tape runner. And I'm just going to place this on the corner where that designer paper is. On both sides. I think the green stands out a little bit more than the yellow. The yellow is a little bit lighter than the solar yellow that I used in the sunglasses effect. And the blue and the waves really stand out. So I've got a little bit of excess of the repositional tape on that white cardstock a little bit. So that can be easy removed just by rubbing it just a little bit. So now, as you can see now, there's the base of my layout. We're doing that little border and using the green side did stand out a lot more. You could have used, you know, the blue. The other thing that you could have also done it was cutting the waves the other side and using the double layout like this. And then you could also have used the sunglasses border strip if you wanted to. So that's another way that you could also do it. So the only thing that's now is left to do on my layout is, you know, like doing a title and putting on some stickers and some photo mats. I do like this little title here, girls just want to have fun. So I did want to try and use that in the layout, but I think I might cut this down to a 4, I think it's 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. So I want to cut it down to 4 by 4, I should say. But I want to use the end bits. So in the middle of this is 6.5. So it'd be 3.25 in the middle. And I want a 4 by 4. I'm going to take 1 inch off both ends. I think I should have taken 1.25 inches actually. Yeah, 1.25 inches. And then, silly mistake with my mass. So I'm just going to take 1/4 off the end, so that will make it at 4. And then so these both ends are even. I'm going to take 1/4 off each side. Like this. And then I'm going to use those ones. So they're just going to be my main title. Girls just want to have fun. Then I'm going to bring in my pink cardstock, and I'm going to cut those photo mats at 4 by, I think these are still 4.5. By 4.5. So I'm going to have 2 like this. I think I might go from the top. Might leave that little gap in between and then do this one at the bottom. Then I'm going to need another pink mat, so I'm just going to do that one 4 by 4. Oops, didn't go all the way through. So I'm just going to cut a 4 by 4. And that 4 by 4 will sit there. And then I'm going to use the blue. And I think I might do 2 6 by 4s. So we've got 4 by 6. And then have that photo overlapping on the sunglasses, like so. Just put that in. So this is how I would do my layout. So then you've got your 6 by 12 designer papers on either side, cut in half. You can turn them to have the other way if you like. I've also incorporated, might do a little bit different, maybe do like this. Yeah, I think that looks better actually. And then you have, might center that. You have your 4 by 4.5 photo mats down the bottom with the sun coming from the girls just want to have fun. I've got 2 6 by 4 photos on either side. So the other thing that I would do is find another little title, maybe Hello Summer, you know, to going into that same color theme, or Relax into Summer, relaxation mode, and use the hibiscus flowers to put some embellishment and 3D effects on my page. And you also have some nice little shells and that. So that's the other thing that I would do to complete this layout. But this is another idea that you can actually use, you know, like cutting out your BMCs with your jumbo circle and using, you know, the outside of that jumbo circle and then making a layout and then just doing some sunglasses strips in the middle, and also just your standard ring with the sunglasses effect. So I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope you give it a go and try to make out some different effective layouts and try to, you know, make it look a little bit different instead of just using the one jumbo circle and making a, you know, one page design and just using your 2 photos in the middle. like this. You can actually then do, just put this, oops, back on. You can have it like this. You know, it's completely up to yourself how you would have it, but making it another double page layout and then having on either side with your designer paper as well in that, it makes it look a little bit different. So that was my little technique of using the Sunglasses automated system. Why not you give it a go today? All these items are still available on the Creative Memories website. Any concerns, any problems or questions you might have, please drop me a line and I'll get right back to you. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy scrapping, everyone.